What's amazing, a lot of people don't know this brand, but they will very shortly because we're just now in the US really kicking off. Well, our founder 45 plus years ago worked for Ferrari. This product is made in the Motor Valley, Modena, Italy. Our neighbors are Ferrari, Lamborghini, Bugatti, and these bikes are actually all carbon fiber construction. We have huge banks of CNC machines that are down to sub-micron technology for clearances. This bike is kind of one of our trademark bikes with Italian colors, you know, the red, white, and green. And this is known as the Ego, the EGO. They create 150 foot-pounds of torque. There's no clutch, there's no gear shift. You engage the assembly and put it in drive, and you're ready to go. It's speed limited at 150 miles an hour. The speed is blistering, but totally under your control. Our throttle is a by-wire throttle. Whether you're going 1 mile an hour or 2 miles an hour, your feet up. The balance is so precise, and it's that same precision balance feeling all the way to 150. You truly, and this isn't hype, you're 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. You're 0 to 100 in about 4.7 seconds, if you want to. I'm not advocating that. But from 60 rolling to 150 is blistering fast. There's no one that will be able to keep up with you. The bike is so planted and stable at those speeds. Again, we have massive Brembo 330 millimeter front discs. And if you select the regenerative mode of braking, or where you can turn it off, you haul down so fast when you're braking that you feel so safe and secure in traffic that it really opens up new horizons for your riding. You can go into Eco. Eco is limited about 65 to 70 miles an hour. If you want to maximize your mileage at that point, you're going to easily do 130, 140 miles around town. Maybe more, it depends on the rider. But that limits it again to 65. And then you have lap timing here. This actually has built-in telemetry, both Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and the new European standard. The number escapes me, but there's a European standard that's long-distance Bluetooth in effect. You can actually follow on the track not only your lap times, but your buddy, and see where he is and what he cut. And there's many modes here that can show whether you want this consumption in horsepower or kilowatt hours, etc. This shows your power left over as you're riding, how many miles typically are left depending on your style at that moment or how you've been riding. This is again where you can control. You can go eco, urban, rain. This limits the amount of power, and again, the VCU monitors, even if you do slip a little bit or you're giving it too much power, it corrects it for you in that mode. Sport, of course, is hell on the highway. You're ready to go. You can control the display, whether you want the backlight on during charging or off. So there are numerous modes for that. And no one else has an active matrix display that does this. We also have here, nobody else also has a typical automotive OBD port. So we can do remote diagnostics through telemetry, which is amazing. Not only can we diagnose from San Francisco, where our corporate headquarters is, from a shop, although we've yet to break a bike, nobody's breaking them. They made their own ASIC-driven VPU. Instead of calling it an engine control unit like most automotive manufacturers, we call it a VPU. We write so many lines of code in our VPU, which controls the entire bike, that it's about 20 times what the space shuttle has in lines of code. And that's a fact. So it controls every aspect, and it's monitoring everything you're doing 100 times a second. Matter of fact, if you're accelerating hard or braking hard and there's rear wheel lift, it automatically modulates the braking and interfaces very, very subtly with the anti-lock so that you don't get any wheel lift or out of control feeling. I've never, out of my fleet of bikes, had a more planted feeling on the road than you get with this motorcycle. This has an oil bath around the transmission and engine. You can literally come off the road, and I have, literally having burned up, let's say 125 miles an hour down a toll road or a freeway, come off, stop the bike, and put your hand on that case, and it's perfectly cool. The only maintenance is at 5,000 miles, we take that oil out. You don't even replace it. It comes with a little screen. You just filter it to see how it looks. You put it back in, and you're done. That's it. That's the maintenance. And I've put 7,000 miles on my Ego so far, and my chain looks great. No cog wear, nothing, which is amazing considering how much power we're putting out. These are Oz racing wheels we put on these bikes. They're specially prepared racing wheels that are spun. Again, here's typically, just a mock-up of a box, but whether you go to Easy Charge, Easy Go, Fast Charge Point, you have an option again. At home, this comes with a box for a typical overnight charge. The charge system is built into the bike. That's very novel. So you have a very small box at home you plug in. And it literally has this exact same kind of automotive port. This is the same as the Chevy Volt and everybody else except, again, Tesla's proprietary. If you take a look down here, that's what the interface looks like for all of those cars. So you actually pull up, put your card against the charger, snap in, and in fast charge mode, even after you've done, let's say, 110 miles of hard riding, in 20 minutes you can get 90%, and you're ready to go. Go and have a cup of coffee, and you're off and running again. Which, again, nobody else, even with the bikes that are prototypes out there that you see, even has it in their prototypes. This is exposed carbon fiber. Again, it's the same carbon fiber that's underneath this ceramic coating up here. We wind form all of this ourselves. We make it ourselves. And again, we do it all for Formula One for fast prototyping. They want some kind of new induction. They want to test a part. We can make it overnight for them by their 3D capture in our wind form system. It has a little bit taller windscreen, which on this Sport Tour version, they're going to have a couple of optional windscreens that'll change. Again, one bar, you're more upright, and when you sit on the bike, you really feel extremely stable. The bike handles phenomenally. Again, having so many bikes, I'll compare it to any of my bikes that I maneuver around town. And again, it's just blistering fast, should you want to go blistering fast. You want to go slow and creep, it's so well balanced that going down the freeway often at 1 or 2 miles an hour, my feet are up on the pegs. I'm just giving it a little bit of throttle, it's giving it a little bit of power, and there's no lash, no transmission lash, no chain lash, which the others can't say. We ran Isle of Man this year. We placed very high against $1 million prototypes. We came in second with a stock bike and a rider from a local shop in the UK. And that was against MIT and all of these other people that were racing, again, well-engineered electric bikes. And next year, FIM comes out with their new MotoGP E-Class. A lot of people don't know it, but Formula One has and people should look it up on YouTube, Formula One has an E-Class now that's very successful. They're kicking off officially in 2019, but starting to phase in, I think, 8 or 10 races next year, motorcycles in the electric class, and we're chasing that. These are 24.9K, and that's before in this case, California, a $900 state rebate. Your local energy companies also typically have rebates for electric vehicles. The federal tax credit, they're debating that now again. That was $2,700. It stopped in July. But everybody expects it to be renewed because it was successfully driving EV sales. So after rebates, it depends on where you live for your local utilities, et cetera. But there's a couple $1,000s typically in rebates at that point.